291st day of 2023. There are 74 days left in the year. Good morning, MV, guiding you through In the Know at K105. On Litchfield's Country Station, 103.9 The Moose, live online at K105.com, via the Apple and Android smartphone app, using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast. We are on the Facebook, we are on the YouTube, we are on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we are going to update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. We have NTSB report is in on an accident recently. We'll tell you about how notifications are messing with your mental health. We'll have that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I saw your dad yesterday.
I know. I love it.
We had a conversation for a while, and I was sharing with you what we talked about.
Yeah.
And I said, you'll be shocked to learn that we talked about the weather.
Uh-huh.
Because, most farmers want to talk about the weather in some way.
Uh-huh.
But it reminded me, how many conversations, what percentage of conversations do you think humans have that involve weather?
Like how many per what?
Yeah, just like what percentage out of 100% of conversations, how many do you think the weather comes up in conversation?
I don't know, 75.
79% of conversations come up with the weather. So the second most talked about topic, TV shows. We talk about TV shows in the second most in conversation. So that makes sense. Over there in chair number 2, we say good morning and welcome back to Grayson County Extension Service Ag Agent, Miss Whitney Carmen. Morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Yeah? You're
Yeah.
wearing your studious glasses today.
I am. I said I got tired eyes today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
so
maybe we'll perk you up. You are in a sporty family.
Yeah.
You are transitioning from baseball to basketball.
Yeah.
This
And
is the time of year.
This is the merge week, so this is why I am wearing glasses. And if you see me disheveled, just smile and wave and go on.
All right. Sounds coming from somewhere, and it's driving me absolutely crazy. I don't know where I hear something off in the distance. So anyway, somebody's got something turned on somewhere that needs to be turned off. Cricket is returning to the Summer Olympics in 2028. Are you all cricket family?
No, I don't think so. I don't even know. The only thing I know about cricket is what I've seen from Bluey.
Oh, yeah, that helps.
Okay. Yeah, that does help.
And here's why I think cricket might be popular on Bluey. They have weird terms: dibbly dobbly, googly, silly mid-off, sledging, and slog sweep. Those are all cricket terms.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I know. The only thing I had seen on the Olympics was that softball was coming back, but that was it.
Yeah, I
did
saw
not know
softball
cricket.
was coming back as well. Okay, I figured it out.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Whoever's turning switches needs to quit. All right. Now I can
Feel better?
focus.
Okay.
Yes, it was driving me
Crazy.
absolutely crazy. Sunny and warmer day before rain chances will return. We're going to see patchy fog this morning. We'll see breezy with showers for tomorrow. So finally, we may get some rain that might account to something. We'll see a 20% chance of rain tonight, but a 60% chance tomorrow with breezy conditions and a high of 70. Warmer today than yesterday and tomorrow, but we will see an abundance of sunshine today, which we will not see that abundance of sunshine tomorrow. So just be ready for that. Does it matter to farmers at this point? Is dry. Now, I guess rain that makes it wet to get the crop in would actually be an insult to injury, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily.
No?
There's a little bit of a school of thought that especially if you've got, which now the corn's already dried down, but for instance, if it was kind of that close to where it was drying down, that sometimes some moisture would act on it would actually make it dry down quicker. I don't know the science behind it, and that's maybe folklore, but there's just the school of thought out there. The moisture now, though, that we are needing is going to help get us through the winter, though, especially for those guys that have pastures, that have winter wheat they've sown. So what we still need the moisture. It's not going to help the crop that's there now, but it is going to help what we need in the wintertime.
It's funny that you mentioned it might be folklore, it might be myth, it might be wives' tale. Some people call them those types of things. But I always laugh. There is an almanac that has farmers in the beginning of.
Yes.
So if anyone knows anything about anything, it seems to me that it's farmers, because they call it the Farmer's Almanac. Or is that because it's an almanac for farmers?
Well, I think there's something to that, and it's interesting because University of Kentucky is a research-based institution, but there are some people that still live by the what we call the signs and the folklore and the old traditions, and there's a little bit of truth to it, but there's probably some scientific backing to it. It's just that's what they've always done, and anyway. I think it's interesting.
The rings on the woolly worm?
Rings on the woolly worm is maybe not. I'm thinking more about when, my grandfather would be like, you can't wean calves at this point in time because of this time. There's just things like that.
When you
don't plant your potatoes at this point, or
and
whatever.
even weaning your children, you go by
the sign.
Yeah, the sign of doing that. What's interesting,
Jocelyn
and I looked for all they have out right now is the 2024. So apparently, John inadvertently threw her 2023 away.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. He's in trouble. So we couldn't find a 2023. So anyway.
All right, let's talk about Israel for a moment. Yesterday, the big news of the previous 24 hours, there was a massive blast that rocked a Gaza City hospital packed with wounded and other Palestinians that were seeking shelter. Killed hundreds of people, at least 500 people. So it appears, if you want to believe what Israel is saying, that this is a false flag event, that it was a terrorist organization that bombed the hospital, to blame it on Israel, so to carry favor and sympathy for Gaza, Jordan, the Palestinians, basically the state of Palestine. So, but Israel's quick to say, it was not us, and we have scientific proof to show you that they were not our rockets that bombed that hospital. And so it shows you the level of depravity that terrorists will go to. They'll just kill 500 people in a hospital just to be able to blame it on the other people, and then maybe take the target off them and put the target back on the Israelis. That event then sent a ripple effect across the region. The Jordanians said, Biden, we don't want to meet with you just yet, because they're trying to maintain optics between both sides. So the president is in Israel at this hour. He's speaking in Tel Aviv, as a matter of fact, right as we're speaking with you. It's 5:12 in the afternoon in Tel Aviv. So he's there to meet with Netanyahu and other leaders. So, and that seems to be a heralded move by a lot of people in Congress. I know Senator McConnell said that it was important that the president go there, and he applauded his decision to go.
Well, and there are so many, in our day of social media, there are so many conflicting reports. I sat on Twitter last night, or whatever, X it was, and just kind of looked, and you can't really believe anything that you're seeing, because one side's saying one thing, one side's saying another, and where are we getting our, who's to say, unless you're over there and you know what's going on. So it's interesting.
And I don't know. I don't have the facts. I don't know how to read the scientific proof. But here's what I do know about the ideology of the Jews versus the ideology of the jihadists.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so the jihadists would gladly claim 500 innocent lives in the name of Allah.
Right.
The Jewish people, and then you go on down from that into Christianity. People would never inflict murder on 500 innocent people. Sure. So just look at who is, from an ideological standpoint, look at who is capable of doing that, and look at who is not, and that should tell you everything you need to know on actually who bombed the hospital.
Right.
The clown show in Washington continues. We're midway through another week, and we don't have a Speaker of the House, which means legislation can't come to the floor, can't be voted upon. Congress, then the Senate obviously is waits on the House to do some things. They got their own business they take care of. But Jim Jordan failed on the first ballot, signaling more turmoil ahead. Some of the votes against him or for others in the first round were more protest votes. People trying to grandstand and say, I'm not going to vote for him because, but in the third and fourth round, they might vote for him just because they made their proverbial point, so to speak. But Thomas Massey got one vote. A congresswoman from Indiana voted for Thomas Massey just because, I guess. So when Kevin McCarthy, when it took 15 rounds in January for him to get the gavel, we should have been able to read the winds then to show you, to show us something like this was in the offing. It shouldn't have taken that much drama for a guy to become the Speaker of the House again. So, clown show, as Tommy Tuberville
That's the best way
would
to
say.
put it. Yeah.
It is a clown show. The National Transportation Safety Board has released its preliminary investigation regarding a fatal plane crash in Ohio County that claimed 2 local lives. The accident occurred on Wednesday night, September 27, just before 11 p.m. in a wooded area near Whitesville. A single-engine Piper PA-28-161 aircraft contained an Eagle Flight Academy flight instructor who was a 22-year-old Junior McKellar of Custer and a student pilot, an 18-year-old Connor Quisenberry of Beaver Dam. The flight lifted off from Bowling Green Warren County Regional Airport at about 9:55 en route to the Owensboro-Davis County Airport on a VFR flight plan, that's Visual Flight Rules. And so the initial report is out from NTSB and basically is pointing to weather, and there are some weather experts, and there is a timeline of air traffic control, radio traffic between the flight and ATC, and what they were told about the weather and being bumped around, etc. The on-the-ground crew did the investigation. Says examination of the aircraft's engine did not reveal any pre-accident anomalies or malfunctions that would have precluded normal operation. So basically we're saying mechanical has been ruled out, and now that takes them one step closer to making a definitive, which I'd say there's, depending upon what side of the equation you're on, you say, well, was it just pilot error? Was it a freak accident? Or was it not enough attention was paid to information about dangerous weather in the area? So we will see. A Litchfield man accused of perpetrating a 2-county crime spree has been indicted in Grayson County. A grand jury earlier this month indicted 23-year-old Tyler Corbin for first-degree burglary, third-degree criminal mischief, theft by unlawful taking, first-degree criminal trespass. The most consequential charge he faces in Grayson County is the burglary count, a Class B felony punishable 10 to 20 years in prison. He was arrested in Breckinridge County in August after allegedly going on a crime spree, maybe about 10 or more burglaries involved. So he was indicted by a Breck County grand jury earlier this month. So indicted by both grand juries on both sides of the lake. ECTC is accepting nominations for its Hall of Distinguished Alumni. Nominees are being sought for the 2024 class of honorees. Their names and photos will join others in a Hall of Distinguished Alumni on display in the atrium of the Regional Post-Secondary Center on ECTC's Elizabethtown campus. Nominees must have completed a credential from ECTC, a degree, diploma, certificate, or been enrolled as a student at ECC, ETC, or ECTC at least 5 years ago. A brief statement documenting the nominees' professional achievements, leadership activities, and evidence of exemplary community service must accompany the completed nomination application. So track down Megan Stith if you have any questions about that. Megan is the person who handles those types of questions, apparently. A man who served as sheriff of Greenup County for nearly 20 years has been sentenced to federal prison. 70-year-old Keith Cooper was sentenced to 13 months in federal prison for mail fraud and federal program fraud. According to court documents, his position gave him access to funds the sheriff's office seized from drug trafficking investigations, including a bank account designed to hold those proceeds. Over a 4-year period, Cooper made numerous unauthorized cash withdrawals and unlawfully retained proceeds from drug trafficking investigations instead of depositing them into the account. He wrongfully took $58,000 in proceeds, which included $46,000 in unexplained cash withdrawals. He also wrongfully took nearly $30,000 in ammunition paid for with sheriff's office funding, and wrongly used county funds to pay for $1,800 in fuel used on personal trips. So, if you like pretzels, you're going to be excited about a new snack food maker that is building a new facility in West Louisville, in an area that often gets overlooked for industrial development. A Stellar Snacks, a pretzel manufacturer, is going to create 350 full-time jobs during the next 10 years at its new facility in western Louisville. It's a 434,000 square foot building, and baking operations are expected to begin September of next year. So they're going to have to work pretty hard to knock Snyder's off the pretzel pedestal for me, but I'm willing to give them a try.
Yeah, that's true.
Support a Kentucky company when I can. Todd Allen, who has been with the Kentucky Department of Education the past 9 years, most recently as general counsel, has taken on the additional responsibility of serving as deputy commissioner. His appointment to serve in the dual roles was made by the interim commissioner of education, Robin Fields Kenny. She said Allen will serve alongside Thomas Woods Tucker as deputy commissioner, with the goal of having KDE in the best shape possible for the next permanent commissioner. He's from Meade County originally. He got his bachelor's from UK in 2007, got a law degree from UK College of Law in 2010, and then was a lawyer in a law firm in Lexington for a while, now working with the Kentucky Department of Education. There is new hardware in the trophy case at Grayson County High School this morning. The Lady Cougar volleyball team defeated Whitesville Trinity last night and won the district title. So congratulations to them. Super excited. Sure we'll be hearing more about that on Friday when we get our Cougar Sports Report. The Western Kentucky University Hilltoppers in the everybody plays college football on Tuesday nights.
I was going to say they were on last night.
They were. They were down by Jacksonville State 20-17 last night down in Jacksonville, Alabama. Jacksonville State, the Gamecocks, hit a field goal as time expired to win the game 20-17. So, too bad for the Tops. The UK SEC Media Days, I think, or they're having something in Alabama this week about the upcoming SEC basketball season. Tennessee picked to win the league. Cats are picked to finish 4th in the preseason SEC poll. Yeah? No?
I don't know. I don't know anything about this team.
Did you watch Big Blue Madness?
I did not.
No?
No, because honestly, there was about 5,000 other things I'd have rather been doing. So, and you can't really tell much from Big Blue Madness anyway, I don't think.
It's not a game any longer.
No.
And then they didn't even have the full complement of players that they're going to have. And it really is just more of a circus.
I think so.
It is a circus to let them show what some of their individual skills look like, 3-point contest, etc. So you're right. There's no real takeaway from it. I did watch it after I watched Cougar football Friday night, but I can't tell if they're any good or not.
And we used to go when we lived there. We would go and make a big thing of it. And it was fun, but I don't know.
Are we over Big Blue Madness?
I am.
I think it needs to be reinvented or something.
Yes.
It seems to kind of, the shine's off of it just a little bit. It's just not the draw. Maybe the program in general is not the draw that it once was. We got to get to a break. Whitney Carmen is our guest co-host today. We got plenty more on the way, including how notifications on your cell phone may be influencing your mental health. That's coming up here on In the Know. Early voting in the November general election will be available to anyone November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th from 8 to 4 at the Center on Main in Litchfield. Then on Election Day, November 7th, you may vote at any of the following voting centers: the Center on Main on South Main Street, the Church of Joy on Schoolhouse Road, the Old Caneyville School on East Maple Street, the Falls of Rough Fire Department on Falls of Rough Road, the Rock Creek Voting House on Grayson Springs Road, the Clarkson Community Center on Millerstown Street, and the Big Clifty Community Center on Cemetery Road. No matter where you live in Grayson County, you may vote at any of these voting centers between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on November 7th. Early voting is only offered November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th from 8 to 4 at the Center on Main.
What do you call someone who puts your family's interests ahead of their own? Someone who takes time to listen without rushing you or passing judgment. Someone you can count on to help guide you through one of life's most difficult times. At Watkins Funeral Home, we call someone like that a friend of the family. For families making funeral arrangements in Litchfield, there's only one thing you need to know. You've got a friend at Watkins Funeral Home. For more information, visit us online at rogers-watkins.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ashley Gabbard, internal medicine physician with Owensboro Health. I'd like to talk with women 40 and over about having annual mammograms, even if there is no history of breast cancer in your family. Early detection provides women a strong advantage in fighting breast cancer. Ask your primary care provider for a referral and schedule your screening online at owensborohealth.org/mammogram.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable.
ECTC's Litchfield Classes is now enrolling for classes that start October 16th.
Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, College for the Real.
They've been waiting. They've been watching. But now, their time has come. Their slumber is over. And the souls are awake. Come live the nightmare at Louisville's most award-winning haunted attraction, the Devil's Attic. For more info, visit thedevilsattic.com.
Apple CEO Tim Cook is in China to assess the iPhone 15's slow start in that country. The surprise visit came as initial iPhone 15 sales are down 4.5% compared to iPhone 14's early performance. China is Apple's third largest market. The chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission says artificial intelligence will almost certainly cause a financial crisis without regulation. Gary Gensler told the Financial Times that the challenge is difficult because most regulations target individuals and institutions, not something broad like the use of artificial intelligence. He pointed to a scenario in which multiple institutions make decisions based on the same AI models, which could lead to trouble. And General Motors is delaying electric pickup truck production due to slow demand for EVs. The company says the Detroit factory was scheduled to begin production next year, but instead is going to wait until late 2025. A spokesperson for the company says the decision was not impacted by the United Auto Workers Union strike. Workers at the plant will be offered positions at other factories until production begins. Tech Report, Mark Mabey.
Baby, 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 I got the feeling, baby.
Today is Alaska Day. Not Baked Alaska, just Alaska. Although Baked Alaska is pretty good. It is No Beard Day. Whitney, where are you on beards?
Well,
You prefer not to wear one, I presume.
I don't know. They don't bother me. My poor husband, he tries to have one, but it's just not in his cards.
He does. Yeah.
He's got like a 5 o'clock shadow. So.
I can't imagine that I'll ever have one.
My dad had one after I was born. You know, he had one while I was born. And then as I was 3 years old on Easter Sunday, he shaved it off and walked into the kitchen with, you know, all of our family. We were getting ready for Easter dinner, and I cried and ran away because I didn't recognize him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My Uncle Rex, he had a full, he did the same to me, and it was just, I cried.
Yeah.
Like, what?
He just recently did it again, and I was like, ooh, you need to
Stop
beard.
that.
Yeah. I grew one once. just to prove I could. Like, I'm a man, I can grow a beard. And then I was like, I don't like that. It was awful. I didn't like it at all. And so never again. And as a result, I think I won't. I can't even stand going a couple of days. I go, ugh. Come on, Captain Graybeard. You got to get out of here. Yeah. It is funny. I think of it every time I see him. Coach Brian Jones is not someone that I've known for very long. 99.99% of the time that I've ever seen Coach Jones, he has had a beard, because he typically wears one during football season, which is most of the time that I see him. But I remember the first time I saw him in the spring without a beard, I didn't recognize him. I didn't know who he was. I was like, who's that guy? I'm like, that's Coach Jones. Like,
yes.
Brian Jones? Like, yeah, because when he rocks the beard, boy, it's out there. You know, he's, like he does right now. So it's also Chocolate Cupcake Day.
Okay.
All right.
If you're Alea, you're just going to eat the icing anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
And hope that the icing is not chocolate.
That's right. She's hoping. Here are 7 tips to prevent constant phone notifications from ruining your health.
Turn them off.
As you've heard me say many times, when you cede something notification power on your device, you are ceding a whole lot of control and the ability to distract you, get you off target, get you off track. So when some app comes along and says, we'd like to be able to send you notifications, really scrutinize that before you say yes. Because you say, oh, I want to know if. So for instance, we don't frequently use DoorDash, but if we're at the beach or something, we're more likely to use it. And so, or I rarely use Uber, but when I do use it, I want to get the notifications because it says, well, your Uber's here, or your DoorDash, or your whatever. But then that means when you're not using them, they also get to say, hey, you know, we over here at Uber, we're running a special. Or DoorDash says, spend $15 this week, and you get like, I don't need to know. I'm not using you. Be quiet. So you got to go in and manage those things. But whether if you do Instagram and it's the likes, or whether it's missed calls or unread emails or the pings of text, I know people that have the tone turned on for their email.
I do not.
And I think I would never be able. This is the first.
Can you imagine?
The rate in which email arrives to me, it would be constantly, the battery would run down on my phone just from that. The addictive dopamine hit of online validation may feel exhilarating in the moment. Experts warn that incessant notifications can result in poor mental health. The delineation between work and leisure life doesn't exist anymore, according to a professor and who wrote a book called Living with Depression. And the ability to reach out and get things in seconds interrupts the developing skills of patience and endurance. We have long been living in the microwave society. I even joke and say I'm so impatient that I think that a minute on the microwave is longer than it should be. You know, I'm like, whoa, it takes a whole minute in the microwave to do that? So it's some indication of how quickly we expect things. Adults spend about half their lives staring at screens. Report estimates, and the average American checks their phones an estimated 144 times a day. I saw a piece on CBS on Sunday. It was a mom and her 2 daughters. And the daughters knew that in your usage stats on your iPhone, it'll tell you the number of times that it's been picked up in a week. It will tell you the number of times that it's been, it's the Face ID or that you've turned it on. And the mom said, you can tell that? Like, the mom didn't even know that that data was available.
I was walking through and you were watching that.
Yeah, and I get a weekly usage report that says it was more, it was less, but I pay it no attention. But it would be interesting to see, this is the average, is 144 times a day that a person grabs their phone.
I would almost argue it. I wonder what the age is on that, because I would imagine that it would be different for someone like me versus my kids.
Some estimates place average push notifications per day at about 50, while a recent study reported that teens are disproportionately screen obsessed, tallying a daily estimate of 237 notifications and as many as 5,000 within a 24-hour time period. So I have...
my goodness.
I finally I had to get rid of all Facebook notifications, or at least because I am involved in so many different pages.
Yes.
So my Messenger notifications are turned off. My Facebook notifications, for the most part, are off. There's a couple of weird pages that have very low traffic that I occasionally get some on, but there's no way I could sort through all of that stuff. And my mental health would be awful as a result of it. And, and it makes a big difference.
I don't have any. The only thing that I have notifications on my phone are I do not have any social media ones. The only ones are my messages, and I have my emails are not even on, because it's like you said, I've got all of my emails on one app, and I have a lot of junk mail, so it would be constant. And my Remind for school purposes. So that's the only thing that I have that gets updated, because you're like I'm terrible about if something happens, I'm picking it up to look at it. And so I try to not do that.
My Apple Watch is best thing and worst thing. Yes. It's helpful when I need it, and then it's an annoying when it's something that's just that's breaking my attention from something else.
Right.
My baby sister went as far, and I don't know if she still did or not, but for a long period of time, she took all her social apps off her phone, because then I have to go to a desktop or a laptop, or I have to go somewhere else, or I have to go in a browser to log in, and it created a barrier between her and social, so that it wasn't just this incessant, constant flow. And by the way, it's not that I was getting a whole lot of stuff on Messenger. It was not that. But what Facebook and Messenger in general did was that it will now send you notifications for people that aren't your friends. And so basically it's like having your phone turned on 24 hours a day, because it's weird. The jackwagons that I get messages from about complaining about things, they conveniently arrive at like 2 a.m. or 11:30 at night, and I often wonder why this time of day.
Yeah.
So it's all these keyboard cowboys that get liquored up or whatever, and like
I've got something to complain about.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. And we don't, my Messenger, my Facebook is, I'm an admin for several different pages, and so I have to just turn it off. Otherwise, same thing.
It's like swimming in a cesspool all the time.
Yeah.
Interesting though, Gen Z is now embracing a trend called silent walking, where they're going for walks and leaving all their devices behind. Watch
amazing.
Off, phone behind, the way that we used to do it.
Yeah.
Before the Walkman was invented. Before you could carry a Walkman with you would go walking and...
So I do this from time to time, especially if I'm at home and I'll go for a walk. It is amazing the things that you see when you just, pay attention.
That's not my issue. I could do without the music. I could, but I have to know distance. I have to know
exactly what
heart rate.
I got to have my steps. I got to know my steps.
Because I'm working against, I'm working against myself to beat a time to do.
Right. Now, I'll have my Apple Watch, but my Apple Watch, if it gets so far from my phone, it doesn't catch anything anyway. So,
by the way, I'm just going to tell you this on the show because I can't remember to tell you when we're just together. The Do Not Disturb feature
is wonderful.
You have to add... So you can't just add me and add everything. You have to add my cell phone number for phone calls. You have to add me from a text standpoint. You have to, then Do Not Disturb works. You can't just add someone as a favorite and say any communication from them, give it to me in Do Not Disturb mode. You have to do it individually by the method which they might communicate.
Makes noise.
It still makes noise.
Okay. That makes sense because I wonder sometimes when
I'm on the struggle bus when it comes to Do Not Disturb.
Well, I've had that because my son's phone, I have him on Do Not Disturb for a certain period of time during the evening, except for us. But there's been a time or two that I'm a little lazy and I want to call him from the downstairs and he's up in his room and it doesn't work because the Do Not Disturb is on.
Well,
and it's like,
Well, when you have a 21-year-old and an ailing grandmother, I need those to come through.
Yeah.
And I have not had any faith in it. I haven't for a
Well,
while.
and I discovered a while ago, I don't know why I discovered, but I realized, so you've got to create them, you've got to put them in bypass mode for their phone call, for their text message, etc. Because that's when we had a landline, it was okay because the people that really needed to reach us in the middle of the night knew, call the landline, and nobody else did. But without one, you can't just back to the other thing about the middle of the night and the notifications, and you never get any rest. But you need to be alerted by the people that are important to you if they're in trouble or something has happened. So sorting that out is a little bit
My Life 360 is another one I get updates on. That one.
I guess you can bypass that too, I suppose. The Toy Hall of Fame, fans can vote for forgotten 5 finalists this year. So they're people that got their entries that got overlooked. A handful of toys called the Forgotten 5. You can vote for them. The Pogo Stick, the Fisher-Price Corn Popper. How's that not in?
I was going to say, I think I even have one of those at home.
My Little Pony, Pez dispensers,
we love Pez.
and Transformers.
Oh, we collect Pez. If you ever decide to get rid of that popper, I went, yes, to annoy my sister.
Okay, I was going to
Because
say.
Etta, she's 6 months, and it won't be long.
The for one of those items is finally going to get in. It doesn't have to be the corn popper.
I hope, yeah.
I would
think.
imagine.
I mean, how is it not?
But then how do you leave My Little Pony out?
And what was the other one you said? A Transformer?
Transformers, Pez dispensers, My Little Pony, the corn popper, and the Pogo Stick.
Right. But Transformers are pretty big, though, aren't they?
Know what's interesting? Not a single one of those takes batteries.
Ooh.
I know.
So it kind of shows you the classic nature of the toys.
Yes.
Now our toys are all smart.
Well, I was going to say a lot of these, yes, but I will say this. My toddler would much rather play with a toy that doesn't have batteries. Like we've got the little leapfrog or leap pad thing. He doesn't want anything to do with that. He'd rather play with his trucks and tractors.
Silas is what age?
He'll be 3 in
He'll
December.
be 3. Okay, so as we roll into Halloween, Silas cannot have the following: blow pops, candy corn, gummy bears, hot tamales, jawbreakers, Jolly Ranchers, M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, Milk Duds, Reese's Pieces, Sour Patch Kids, Skittles, Tootsie Pops, Twizzlers, or Whoppers.
You might as well just leave him at home.
He had Sour Patch Kids last night. So
There's the list. That says for kids 5
Yeah,
and
okay.
under, they're not supposed to have those. I thought you might roll your eyes at a couple of
That's
those.
pretty funny.
I'm not entirely sure there's any on here that he hasn't had.
I mean, yeah.
He had Sour Patch
well,
Kids
like
last
hot
night.
tamales and jawbreakers. Like we don't give him hard candy, but I mean he's had a blow pop before.
That makes him tough.
Yeah.
Oh
well.
In Houston, a woman accidentally crossed the border to Mexico while driving to a home improvement store. In a viral video, a Houston, Texas woman named Trinity Jackson shared her harrowing experience of accidentally crossing the border from El Paso into Juarez, Mexico. Her misadventure began innocently enough when she set out to purchase zip ties from the home improvement store.
Oh, no.
Guided by her GPS, she ended up on a route that led her straight to the Port of Juarez sign, indicating her inadvertent entry into Mexico. She said, mind you, at this point, I'm already way too close to the sign to put 2 and 2 together, and I realize I am now exiting America and heading to Mexico. She goes on to add, I want to stay in America. I don't want to leave America, all right? I love Team USA. So she was panicked and determined to re-enter the United States. She found herself at the Border Patrol, where she had to overcome a language barrier with an agent, relying on Google Translate to explain her predicament. She said, this is missed exit to the extreme. She said she was clueless, and they had dogs scrutinizing agents, like they give her the full investigation and finally let her go back into the United States. So, but she did not stop to get her zip ties on the way home. She said, the zip ties will be out there tomorrow. I'm going home. I've had enough for one day.
You mean there's not a dollar store within 5 miles of her place?
I figure there's one right there at the border, or on both sides of the border, most likely. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way here on In the Know.
Kentucky is a special place. I see it everywhere I go. I'm Andy Bashir. We've been through a lot these past 4 years, but Kentuckians are the hardest working, most resilient people I know. We've faced down impossible challenges, and we've come out stronger on the other side. I will always show up for Kentucky families because we look out for each other. We're rebuilding homes and whole new neighborhoods from natural disasters because we have a responsibility to our fellow Kentuckian. We're growing our economy at a record pace, creating thousands of new, good-paying jobs. Unemployment has never been lower. And we've cut the income tax by 10% in a fiscally responsible way. There's still work to do. That's why my education plan includes well-deserved and necessary raises for our public school teachers. We've turned the corner and we're moving forward. Let's keep it going. I'm Andy Beshear and I approve this message. Paid for by Andy Beshear for governor.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter DCBS jobs in the search field. It's a new day at DCBS. Join them, an equal opportunity employer MFD.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. That's 800-659-7540.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. We'll see plenty of sunshine in today's forecast as we climb into the upper 60s and for some the low 70s for highs this afternoon. For tonight, clouds increasing ahead of our next system that will bring us some rain for tomorrow. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first Beatles song. Love me do, I think it was, and from there it didn't take him long.
Did you know? Did you know? I have a did you know for each of you today.
All right.
Did you know giraffes are 30 times more likely to get hit by lightning than people?
Well, I mean they kind of make sense.
Up there.
Yes, but it makes me wonder when they say, is it an apples and apples comparison? Is this if a human is standing next to a giraffe in the same location at the same time? It would seem like to me that the giraffe would be 300 times more likely to get struck by lightning than a person.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if it's, I mean, giraffes live outdoors.
Right.
And humans live inside, so I would think that would explain a lot of the math.
But what's the population of giraffes?
That's a good
people?
question.
Yeah.
I'd say there are a lot more
weirdest
people
looking
than giraffes. Is going to go out on a limb.
I mean, I love giraffes, but they are so weird looking. When I'm there at the zoo, I was just like, that is the weirdest looking animal ever.
The fuzzies on the top of their head. Oh, yeah.
They're adorable, but
Whitney, did you know that cows have best friends?
I believe it.
Okay, I figured if anyone knew, you did.
I believe it.
Being the agriculture expert
Yeah,
that you are.
I believe it because even in like your sheep, there are pairs that hang out together. It's weird, when you see them because when we used to have them, there'd be a couple together and a couple together, and it's almost like they also have babysitters.
I was
when
gonna say that,
cat,
yes.
like when you have a set of calves, you've got. There's mamas around, and so if one will hang back with the babies while the other ones go graze.
Yes,
interesting.
I have encountered that. Jocelyn and I. Yes, it is so cool.
Yep, they'll
but you can
babysit her.
see there's one in particular of hers that is she's pretty consistent on as being the babysitter.
Yeah.
Just kind of weird how things happen in nature like that translate between
But I would be-
animals, period, Homo sapiens, or you know,
Yeah,
just
I would be
mammals
the
in general.
I would be the cow that's the babysitter, right? I mean, I love kids, so I would be
Babysit.
that cow.
Yeah.
So we are finding, you know, and I realize that she gets a lot of attention just because of the marvel that this Eras Tour is. It's an economic driver, etc. But it now is the Eras Tour concert film is creating another conundrum now for moviegoers that really the internet could debate out very strongly. Is the Eras Tour concert film a concert? Or is it a movie? And how do you act in the movie theater when you go? Do you act like you're at a concert or do you act like you're at a movie?
Well, I have some firsthand experience in
Oh,
this. Well,
okay.
secondhand, I guess.
All right.
Caroline went on Friday to the Eras Tour movie, and she said that they had, which she had a blast. She went with a bunch of older girls, you know, cousins and stuff. But she said that, I said, how was it? And she said, well, we were not allowed to yell, scream, carry on like that. She says, but we did sing. She said we did sing along.
So who do you think enforced the rules on the not screaming, standing?
That was the facility.
Okay.
Yes, because they went to E-Town and there were signs on the doors, and I think that they had maybe someone tell them that they can't, because there were movies going on concurrently
Right,
next
sure,
door.
yeah.
So I don't know
I mean-
I don't know what you would do. Maybe if you had enough, if you took the whole facility and showed the concert in each one of them, then it could be a big party.
Well,
I
there
don't know.
there were no other movies that opened that weekend. Like there were no new movies. There were other
Right.
movies, but there were no new movies this weekend for this very
But
reason.
say for example, if the showing was at 6 and 9 o'clock,
Uh-huh.
you have at 6 o'clock, that's all just the Eras Tour, and at 9 o'clock, all just the Eras.
So I'm on record for how much I despise squealing.
Oh, I'm sure there was
Like
squealing.
it is a sound that I absolutely I think it's
Mhm.
one of the worst sounds in the world is squealing. And so one person posted, I'm at the worst screening ever. Said, can't even hear Taylor. A different user posted, said they had trouble hearing Swift at all in the screening they attended because people were so disrespectful, like there were some that actually were kicked out of the room because they were being so rude. They completely ruined a lot of people's experience there. So, you know, lights on the cell phones and the standing and the dancing, like this is the equivalent of them getting to go to the concert, so they're going to act like it. But you're in a movie theater.
Yeah.
You're not at a concert. And I can see where some people are conflicted.
I have a suggestion. Maybe, I don't know. Wow, it should have been, maybe hindsight's 2020, going back, maybe should have done it a little earlier and done it at a drive-in or an amphitheater and shown it on a big screen, and then it's like a concert.
It seemed like to me if there were someone who could revive the drive-in industry, it would be Taylor.
That is not a bad, that's not a bad
Let's put
theory.
her on it.
Yeah.
I don't know who Grimes is. I know Grimes is a musician, but Grimes says that Taylor Swift is the only presidential candidate who can unite the country.
Is
Now,
it Luke
hold
Grimes?
on.
Luke
No, it's maybe it's Claire Boucher.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, some pop artist, Grimes, says that Taylor Swift is the only presidential candidate who can unite the country. All right, let's not get carried away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not there
Let's
yet.
not get carried away.
But but Caroline did have a good time, and I will say she is a straight up rule follower, so she probably just sang along and did not do any hollering and
I can
carrying
see
on.
that about her.
And in my mind, as far as I'm concerned, there was not one single squeal that she put forth. There's
I would doubt it.
No squealing. And then Britney Spears' new memoir is, I think it's making the rounds in the sense that it's been released to journalists.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to be making the rounds that her new memoir, the pre-release revelations include why she shaved her head, the conservatorship, had some information about Justin Timberlake in there that probably is an eyebrow raiser. Not that he did anything bad, but they got in a situation, according to her, that many young people get in. And she answers a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So her new book is coming out. You know, she and Justin were Mouseketeers.
They were. I remember. That was my era.
Oh, yeah. So the new book's coming out soon. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Wrap it up for the morning here on In the Know.
Yesterday, I spoke to fathers about how to help their sons fight the battle against sexual temptation. Today, I want to speak to the moms out there. Hi, this is Jim Daly from Focus on the Family. When it comes to your son and the topic of sex, it's usually less embarrassing if a male role model leads the charge. Hopefully, that's dad. But if he's not in the picture, moms can still play a positive role. Say, for example, your husband is reluctant to talk to your son about sex. It may be because he doesn't know what to say. If that's the case, look into some resources that will equip your husband with the tools to make that conversation easier. In fact, you can go to our website at focusonthefamily.com to find those resources. But what if you're a single mom? Well, I suggest you enlist the help of a male authority figure that your son trusts, perhaps a coach or someone from your church. In fact, that was my story. I grew up without a father, but I had a coach who made all the difference in the world. He took me under his wing and set me on the right path. Finally, both parents should recognize this. As teens get older and busier, they become more independent, and that's natural, but it means you'll have to work harder to stay connected with your son. So maintain the tether of love at all costs. It's the only way to ensure that when they need you most, you're going to be there. To help your boy thrive, go to focusonthefamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
Core-Mark Kentucky has immediate job openings for night warehouse shifts. If you're highly motivated, seeking a family-friendly environment, Core-Mark Kentucky has full, part, and temporary time positions available with competitive wages, incentives, benefits, vacation, and a fun work atmosphere. Core-Mark Kentucky offers you a 4-day work week. That's 3 days off a week. Call a recruiter now at 270-259-9341 or apply online at careers.coremark.com. Core-Mark is an equal opportunity employer.
That's when you need someone that you can call when all your faith is gone. It feels like you.
MB's point to ponder for today is going to be rapid fire would you rather.
Okay.
All right, here you go, ladies. Would you rather never get a paper cut again or never get something stuck in your teeth again?
Never get a paper cut.
Yeah.
Paper cuts are unbelievably painful.
Yes.
And they don't happen that often. But man, when you get one, it's like you think you might be dead.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
I don't know. It's weird. It's unbelievable that paper can inflict that much harm. And I'm thankful that it doesn't happen very often. But mercy. You know, a toothpick will fix the other problem. I don't know. You wear gloves all the time to keep from getting a paper cut? I don't know.
I don't know.
Would you rather go without shampoo for the rest of your life or toothpaste?
Oh, toothpaste. I can make toothpaste.
Yeah.
I can probably get by. I'm pretty close to getting by without shampoo.
Yeah, you don't need shampoo, honey.
So I can probably say I can go without shampoo. I mean, I pretty much just use an all-in-one anyway, or could.
Well,
I don't, but it would be easily enough to do. Would you rather always have a mullet or a ponytail?
Ponytail.
Ponytail.
Because I am almost always in a ponytail.
I know, but there has to be times when a ponytail gets annoying.
It cannot be any more annoying than the look of a mullet. I mean, I'm just.
You can't see your own mullet.
I don't care.
Or your own ponytail, for that matter.
I don't care.
I don't suppose.
There's no way.
Ponytail.
Would you rather be forced to listen to the same 10 songs on repeat for the rest of your life, or forced to watch the same 5 movies on repeat for the rest of your life?
Okay. I mean, I pretty much do that. So, I don't know. It's a tough.
That is a very tough one. I'm assuming you get to choose what the songs or movies are.
Yes.
Movies.
Yeah.
I'm going with movies because here's what I will
that
deduce from the premise that then I get to listen to any music I want to. So I'm going with I'd rather have the leisure to choose my music, and then I would be strategic in the 10 movies.
Right.
Because I would take 10 3-hour movies that I really like. Right?
Yeah, and it makes me think about the fact that at one point in time when TV was just first starting anyway, you only had so many things that you were able to watch. So
That's right.
You know.
Would you rather listen to an annoying laugh for a whole day or get tickled for 1 hour?
Oh,
my gosh, annoying laugh because I cannot stand to be
Neither
tickled.
one of you like to be tickled.
Oh my gosh,
Got it.
don't touch me.
Don't.
Would you rather your only mode of transportation be a donkey or a giraffe?
I mean, I'm obviously going to take the giraffe.
I like the donkey.
You would like to ride a giraffe, but from a practical daily standpoint, I'm not sure you
I see what
would.
you're saying, but I'm still going to go with giraffe. The
I'm
same
going
way
with
I go
donkey.
with Snoop every time.
Your only mode? Your only mode?
Yes.
I'm going to donkey.
I guess I'm going to have to climb on top of the house to get on it. But
I was going to say, good luck.
It's not practical at all.
Build a
but
staircase like they roll up to the Air Force One, you know. It's just going,
some of the things I stick to are
It
just
doesn't
not
look very
practical
comfortable
anyway.
to ride either.
Would you rather be physically stronger than most people or be able to fly?
Fly.
Oh, fly.
Would you rather have to always wear heavy boots or never be able to wear shoes?
Never be able to wear shoes? Ooh, I don't know.
You're a shoe wearer.
That's a tough. Oh, heavy boots.
Heavy boots. I'd have really strong calves.
Heavy boots, I guess.
All right. Today's highlight in history. Wait, did I tell you what's on television? Survivor is on tonight. They're doing the merge tonight. I think they have to because they wiped out that one tribe.
That yellow.
Was it Lulu? Lulu
I don't
was
know.
the
They're yellow.
tribe? Yeah. I mean, they got so small they couldn't compete in challenges because, or the half of the other tribes had to sit out. So they had to rework them. Texas Rangers at Houston Astros tonight. Was that game 2 of the ALCS? I was telling Whitney before the show, I've not watched a single pitch of baseball since the Yankees were eliminated from playoff contention.
Is this your defiance?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say, we watched the Dodgers finish up, and then we've been watching I guess the Phillies are going to be our team going forward because Jackson likes Bryce Harper.
Celebrity Jeopardy tonight. Stephen Weber, Shane Battier, and Melissa Fumero. I think I know some of those names,
I don't know
but
Shane Battier.
Duke or North Carolina?
Duke.
Yeah.
Puke.
Today's highlight in history, this date in 1867, the United States took formal possession of Alaska from Russia. That's why it's Alaska Day today. In 1648, Boston shoemakers were authorized to form a guild to protect their interests, becoming the first American labor organization on record. Were they like the United Cobblers?
Maybe.
United Cobblers of America?
That's interesting that it was a shoe company.
Texas Instruments, this date in 1954, unveiled the Regency TR-1, which is the first commercially produced transistor radio.
I was thinking about the TI-83.
The reason the transistor radio is important is because it took radios from being the size of an old television set and it reduced them down to your hand.
So you can
And
take
it
them.
made it portable, and then that paved the way to just being mobile. Birthdays today. Mike Ditka is 84. Joe Morton is 76. Pam Dauber is 73. Chuck Lorre is 71. Martina Navratilova is 67. Jean-Claude Van Damme is 63. Neo is 44. Lindsey Vonn is 39. Zac Efron is 36. Brittany Griner is 33. Bristol Palin is 33. I bet Brittany Griner's having a happier birthday this year than she did
was
last
year, for
I'm
sure.
going to go out on a limb.
Yeah.
Say the cake's probably better.
Mm-hmm.
Gone but not forgotten. Chuck Berry, born this date in 1926. Whoa, Nelly. Keith Jackson was born this date in 1928. Peter Boyle, 1935. Don Wells in 1938. You know who Don Wells is?
I don't think so.
I feel like I should.
She was Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, Gilligan's Island. Okay, yes.
And Erin Moran was born in 1960. She was Joni on Happy Days. Joni Loves Chachi.
Yeah.
All right. We're really out of time. Because I took too much time playing Would You Rather. But I found your answers to be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If that helps matters. Yeah, it's being difficult. Autumn Leaves was number one in 1954. You know, I don't really care about that one, do you?
Don't even know that. I didn't know that.
It'll sound like Autumn Leaves. Dancing in the Street, Martha and the Vandellas in 64. Ramblin' Man, Allman Brothers in 73. Who Can It Be Now, Men at Work in 82. Romantic, Karen White in 91. Christina Aguilera, Come On Over in 2000. You Are Gonna Be Sad to Know, Party in the USA was number one this date in 09. And Post Malone, Better Now was number one 5 years ago today. Whitney, thanks for coming in.
Yep.
See you again real soon. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today says, in order to carry a positive action, we must first develop a positive vision. In order to carry a positive action, we must first develop a positive vision. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Whitney Carmen, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes, it's on K105.
WKHG, Litchfield.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster.
There's no rationalizing it, no excusing it, period.
President Biden in Tel Aviv addressing the Hamas terrorist attacks in Israel, telling the Israeli people, you are not alone. And the Palestinians in Gaza are suffering too under Hamas rule. The president earlier with Israelis responding to the attacks.
Babies burned in their mother's arms, some with stories that I don't think they'll ever recover from.
She's a pediatrician. At least 189 decomposing bodies were removed from a funeral home in Colorado Springs, more remains than first reported earlier this month.
The total number of bodies could change as the identification process